So this is someone, I think it was actually last fall. Jason was his name. And so this is his video, his blog. So I'm going to show you first his case study. So I did put up on my blog, just to let you know, let me zoom up here. I did put case study examples. So this is your final presentation. And what you're going to do is you're pretty much going to assemble, you're going to do your narrative. I've given you what we call a professional format for case study. And we're going to do the case study like we do today. You're going to share your screen and you're just going to talk about what you did and how you did. And you scroll through your case study page. So your case study is actually a page. And what this does is it documents your entire experience. So let me show you what that looks like with one of our students. So you only have to look at the ones that have animation. So here is, let's see here. Let me do, here's a good case study, Jennifer. So Jennifer's case study here. Jennifer, unfortunately, her first semester was in Michigan at an animation school, and she had to come back. I felt so bad that her first semester had to be so awful. So you put your motion graphic in, you put your walk cycle in, and then you can put your final project. But what you're doing is you're walking through your narrative of what you did and how you did. And these are just captured screens that you can do, right? Remember, in Animate, wherever you are, in Animate, if you're looking at something, you can export an image. And it will, like right now I'm in a storyboard frame here. It's going to export it as an image. So no matter where you are and it's zoomed in, it will give you an image. So if you go through your timeline, if you scrub through your timeline, you can see things like this, and then you just capture the screen. So she's just basically talking about what she did and how she did. And then she would put her final animation inside. So on here, I don't know if she did that. So let me go back to another case study here. So another good one is Patrick Monroe's case study. Patrick followed the format, which is easier than what Jennifer did. So the format is under Patrick here. You talk about the project, and then you talk about your description. And what you're doing is you're talking about what you did and how you did. So the research is something that you might have, one of your cartoons that you like, the style. What were the challenges? This is really your voice. Don't worry about, grammatical errors. Trust me, I don't grade English proper, your format and so forth. It's really just you telling the story about your experience in all of this. But I've organized it so that you can talk about the description, the research, the challenges, your strategy, your design, and then the effectiveness. And then again, he just copied from his sketches and from some export images in timeline on this. So I'll take you to take a look at this. So that's under case studies for that. And then in Jason's here is his storyboard and his videos. So we'll go right to his videos. So he has the motion graphics. This is his walk cycle. And then this is his animatic. And this is where he put a voiceover. So now what he did is he used students in the classroom to do the voiceover. So let me, I think it's this one. So let's take a look at this.
Tree. Can you get our cat down from the tree? have an idea. Litter. Are you all right there, little cat?
Thank you for saving our cat.
Literally, those were the students in the classroom on there. And so then this is when he animated his scenes. So here's his animated scene from the storyboard.
Oh no, our cat is stuck in the tree.
Hey, young man, we need your help. Can you get our cat down from the tree?
I have an idea.
So you see, all you're doing is taking one of those scenes and putting the music and the sound effects. And so when you look at the whole storyboard, that's what we're just looking for to be able to do on that. So Katie, I don't know, you were working on your storyboard, and Karamay, any questions on the case study or on, let me try to show you Patrick's here. And Dylan, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. My question is, how would you apply the shadow? Because I was thinking about putting a sun into my storyboard, and I wanted to make that shadow effect to the main character.
Right. So that's a good question. So on shadows, literally, you make a layer behind the object that's casting the shadow. So if you have a chair or a table or a human figure, you make another layer behind it, right, on the bottom, below it, and you just paint it black, and then you convert that to a symbol. So do you have to remember, basically, in order to apply like opacity, you have to be able to make it a symbol. And then when you make it a symbol, convert to symbol, then you can apply in the property box the color effects called alpha, and just lower the opacity of that black. Don't use gray. You must use black, because if you use gray, it gets muddy. And it's a bad shadow when you lower the transparency. So black, pure black, is the best color to use for good shadows with the opacity down.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let me, any other good questions? So these are things, and don't forget, you can email me during the week. Like if there's a troubleshooting issue, you can email me, and I'm pretty much on my emails Monday through Friday on that. So let me see if Patrick still has his animation here. Okay, so here we go. So this is kind of what we call fan art, right? Fan art is you take your favorite thing and you reanimate it, right?
Yeah.
So this is Patrick's. When Patrick was in my class, at that time, I had invited 2 professional animators to the class. And what they said, which was very interesting, is that it's great to be able to do this in your learning context. But when you begin to start getting to your professional reel, it's very hard to take something people are already familiar with, because they're highly critical. So this came out, they thought it was extraordinarily really well done, but that again, to you know, try to create original content, because then they have nothing to compare it with. And so that's why it's very good to come up with your own characters and animate your own characters. Then there's not like, because the fan base it's really hard to get to the caliber of the professional quality, because you know you have a whole team working on the professional one when you're only working it on one. So it's difficult on that part, but he loved it, and he knew it was a learning curve for him. So the point to be made, so in this animatic, I want you to show you where the loops are. And so the loops become separate symbols. So right away, winking, or not winking, blinking. So you would take your two eyes, and only one eye, and blink it, and then flip it to the other one. And again, a blink. So now, that one right there, that's a squash. It can also, now I'm gonna go frame by frame, watch what happens. Let me see if it, let me go back. And yeah, so I'm going frame by frame right now. And it doesn't, there it goes. Okay. So you see there's a little bit on here. Do you know this character, everyone?
It's a show on Cartoon Network.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So watch the eyes. This is what we call a shape tween. You remember when I showed you the raindrop where the gradient stretched out? That's a shape tween. So the shape tween means it has to be broken apart from the actual animation on that. So that's a shape, so that's how you can make loops be shape tweens. And obviously he flipped it and so forth. And you can see the hair, Caramel, you see how he has the keyframe on the hair? That was clearly onion skin on that. Now I can't make a comparison because I'm not sure of this character. I would have made a much more dramatic emphasis on this, but it's fine. I don't know the original, so maybe it's very subtle, which is why he made it subtle. And so then on here, when he does this one, this is a shape tween again. So these spots are definitely, this area right here, this splash is definitely a shape tween. So he's just morphing it around on that. Do you guys remember the shape tween?
I think
Yeah.
I do.
Was
Okay.
that when you converted the square into a triangle?
Yes, exactly. And then, but it has to be broken apart.
Got it.
And that would be in the shape tween on that. Same thing with this. So here's that gradient. And so then in a symbol, this symbol goes up and down on there. And so on the swapping, we'll take a look on the swapping as well. So these are all really good examples. And so let me just see if Patrick. So this is another one that he did. This looks like another one right here. Now this looks, because I can see this right now, it's an animated GIF. So in Flash, you can do animated GIFs easily.
Looks like a pumpkin.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is his demo reel, 2016. So this comes from his animatic. We saw this. See, where does it change? Here. And this, you can just do little pieces, right? You don't have to do the whole animatic. Now this is literally from his storyboard that he has. That, let me see if he has here. So on here, let's see if this goes to his portfolio. And then his channel. So now he's beginning to build some more. See, then it's, so now, you know, he's just doing things one at a time. So these are just things that you begin to start working with one at a time. Let's see what this one is. Oh, this is 2019. So this is good. So this is Patrick either working right now or doing it on his own. I have no idea. I haven't heard from him in a while.
Oh, that's so cool.
But this is from his class. And then again from his class. So all of these begin to start adding up. And that's really what you want to, you know, just little bits. You don't have to do big movies and so forth. That's why we do that one scene. And so let me see here if I can find his animatic. Let's do a find. Let's see here. Okay, so then here. So this was that animatic. This is that one scene that he took out of here. And so you can, you know, he put his text before to give you an idea. So this is kind of where you're, you know, you're kind of pulling together your rough animatic and doing whatever scene you're going to do. And then just get that one scene done, like what Wellington was talking about. So next week, Wellington, if that is done, then you know you can go to something else and do another scene. And that's what Patrick has done here. And whenever you have text like this, you have to be sure that you read it very slowly, like the slowest you could read, because you can't assume everyone is reading it as fast as you are. So you read it very slowly, and then that's when you do your cut. So this is his storyboard. This is his animatic. And so he begins to start painting the scenes. Now you can put music to your final project will have that. Now this is a good example of where we talk about doing stick figures first. Then you begin to build out the drawings. So he went back and he started drawing over the sketches like this to make it become the animatic that he wants. Let me just see. And then he began to build his pieces. So I want to play the whole thing so you can see this. And let's see here. And then when he got to his final project, let's see here. So this is the final project that he did. Let's see here. Is this what he has? Yeah, let's bring it up. Okay. There we go. So again, remember that first scene? Let me try to get, I think I have, let me admit, Raphael. Okay. So now he's working from his animatic, right?
I'm thinking the head is a symbol, right?
Yes, everything is a symbol. And
By
right,
itself.
it just rotates, just goes back and forth on a tween.
Okay.
So now he's back to his rough board again. Oh, let me get rid of this. So you can kind of see there. Now he comes back. He's partially seen, partially created. These are just static images. So that's what I meant. Like you can actually just paint your images. Now he's getting into visual effects. That was just a zoom, static image with the sound effects. So you want to have sound effects all the way through. Then he just did his walk cycle. A tween, a tween, a tween, all static images, jump cut, zoom, motion tween, static image, motion tween, static image, motion tween, static image, static image, static image with motion tween, motion tween, static images, motion tween, static images, tween, jump cut. No animation, no frame by frame, folks. All tweens. That was animated a little bit, the hand. That's a little bit, comes in, smash. Motion tween. Now this is frame by frame. Frame by frame. Shape tween. And shape tween with the blood. His gear comes off. Special effect. And again, a lot of static images, shaking, static images. Very fast, which is doable. And there's your shadows, Dylan, here. There's your shadows, see?
I seen it, yeah.
Yeah. That's how you do your shadows. Separate layer, lower transparency. Now on this one here, let's just talk about this for a second. So this here is, the way he's doing this is it's a mask. Do we remember the mask? Where you take the shape of the mask and then you have your object that you want to see in the mask behind it. And then it cuts off everything beyond the mask. Do you remember that?
No, not really.
I mean, I do remember, but I never understood how that worked.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that now, okay? Any questions so far? Okay, good. So that's an example where once you get one scene done, you jump to the next one. And then you just paint what you want to paint. It's amazing how many tweens. There's probably maybe 3 frame-by-frame animations in that whole sequence there. Most of it is a static image and moved with a tween, literally. So let's go to animate here. And I think Raphael and Dwayne, you're with us?
Yes. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, you had your second cup of coffee? See, I have mine. I have my second cup.
So wait, I have a question. This is like a really basic question, but the shape tween was like the example you gave us with the lake, remember?
Yes.
Okay.
So let me go back to Katie's raindrop. I had that, hold on. Open recent, it's on this one. And then I'll show you the mask. So on here, rain falling. So what we did, just to cover for everyone what we did, I did record this. So first we created a raindrop like this, right? Let me zoom in. And then we created rain falling, which was then this. You see, it might be hard to see. And so then, let me get the timeline. So when you scrub it, you see it comes out as the raindrop right there. And so what happened in the rain, and the rain falling, we distorted that. So then when you do the rain 2, we now have it staggered Let me try to get this to be a black background. Let me see if it'll see better. I'm not sure, actually. Yeah, a little better. Whoop. So here, whoops. Ah. So let me zoom out. Where are you, guy? There you are. Okay. So you see, here's one, and then the other one, let me move them closer together. And this one here, this one, I can move this over more. And so you see how it's growing, the rain like that? Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So what you're seeing is this staggered here. It comes in at different times, and then this distortion, which is a shape tween. So the way we did that was under rain. Watch what the difference is. Now, the shape tween is an orange color. So that's how you know it's shape tween. But if you look at the keyframes here, it's broken apart. You see, you can see that pattern on there. And so then here, then it's with the gradient tool, zoom out. But notice it's not with that blue outline. It's because you cannot do a shape tween with a symbol. So you have to distort it. And that's what we did with distort. And then we use the gradient tool here. This gradient tool is a lot like Illustrator and Photoshop. So I can move this, and then it will tween wherever I have moved it. And that is at shape tween. So now, let me see, yeah, I have 8 minutes. Let me show you the mask now. Let me just take something like this. Okay, so I've got frame 5. So I'm gonna make a new symbol.
What time should we come back?
Oh, our next session that we're scheduled to be, I have it written down here, and then I'll send you another Blackboard email. Our next session is at 11:15.
Okay.
So you're gonna do some work, draw up your questions so I can troubleshoot. But let me just show you the mask now, because it is a step-by-step procedure. So I'm gonna drag in that frame that I have here. So I dragged a symbol in, and let me see what the symbol is. So I'm gonna double click. So you see now I'm in that symbol. It's just a static symbol. So I'll come back out. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have him walk, very simple. Create a motion tween. And now, actually what I wanna do is get him close to that crosshair. Remember, this crosshair is the center of your symbol. So you always want all your objects to be to the lower right of that symbol. Okay, and now I'm gonna just have him do something. I'll have him go up and down, up and down, up and down, right? So then I make a new symbol, and in that symbol, I'm just gonna make a circle. And I don't want any stroke on here. So I do no stroke, remember no stroke. And let's just make it, doesn't matter what color it is. You never see the color of the mask. Okay, so we turn this off. I'm gonna make a circle now. Shift key, whoops. Shift key to make a perfect circle. This is kind of like the Bugs Bunny, Warner Brothers. At the very end, you see it. So now I want to get my, I'm going to turn this off, get my guides down so I can see where the circle is. So I can turn the circle off. Now I'm just going to get him up here. And I want to get him to be large. I'm just trying to do something so that you can see, where's my scale? So you can see a change. There. So over there, there's my circle. So he's gonna get smaller, and now he gets bigger, right? So now he's far away, and he gets bigger. So now on my circle, I only want to see, get this down. Well, I only want to see a little bit of that. And then when I scale this, he comes in. And then I want to get him really big. Oh, not a distortion. See, if you don't put the shift key on, you'll get a distortion. So you always want to keep your left hand ready for the keyboards. So now I see something going on. Now what's going to happen is yet you're going to see it only in the circle. So how do I do that? Number one, I'm going to save before I lose this. And if you have low memory, you always want to save every 30 seconds. Dwayne, I'm sure you probably know that by now when things crash, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's how I learned it. I learned it because I crashed every 2 minutes. Okay, so now here I go. I'm going to turn this to a property. Right click on the layer. Mask. You see, now it's a mask. And so now I only see it within the mask. You see? So when he did that shadow, he made a circle and the shadow was underneath it, but he only wanted to see it in that shadow. Now I can bring this over to the scene and we will only see it within that circle. So you see how it's locked? That's the second way how you can see it in preview. If you don't see it, you go back, you don't see it, right? But if you lock it, it gives you the preview of what it looks like. So now if I put a background on this, you'll even see it more. Now you see this is a layer. I don't want it to be a layer. So I'll go properties and I'll say normal. Now that makes it be a normal. So you can see up here, the mask is the parent and what you want to see is a child. So the layer properties does that for you. So now if I want to make a different background, such as green, like this, now you'll only see it in the circle. Only in the circle. And so if I wanted to put a layer here, I could add a layer, put it behind it, and then I could fill that with a different color. Let's put blue so you can kind of see it better. Okay, good. And now you see it. So you see I had to make a layer of blue because it didn't have a background layer. So now that background layer is a child. And that's why you see it better now, which is why I did it. So that you can see that the object is only in the mask. But it looks like this before you turn on the locking. And it's the properties that you do to make it be a mask. And then that's